We're also identifying shocking levels of incompetence and probable fraud in the Social Security program for our seniors, and that our seniors and people that we love rely on. 3.5 million people from ages 140 to 149. And money is being paid to many of them. And we're searching right now, but we're going to find out where that money's going. And it's not going to be pretty.
And that was President Trump back in March in the congressional address discussing fraud in Social Security, the American Social Security Administration. That was his first State of the Union address. The Social Security Administration responding to the claims, quote, "The data reported in the media represent people who do not have a date of death associated with their record. While these people may not be receiving benefits, it is important for the agency to maintain accurate and complete records." Joining me now is the boss at Social Security, the U.S. Social Security Administration Commissioner, Frank Bisignano. Frank, it's great to have you.
It's great to be here.
Thank you so much for being here. And we so appreciate you talking to us about this speculation. Have you uncovered fraud? What have you uncovered so far at the Social Security Administration?
Well, I think, as the president had said, our books and records were not very good. And that's the source of fraud. And that fraud can travel through the ecosystem. It's much bigger than just Social Security payments. As I've said before, you know, having our books and records, right, the amount of people that were not alive, that did not show on the system as dead, was outstanding. Millions and millions.
That's unbelievable.
And that is a source of potential for fraud. So, you know, as you always like to say, you want to keep your books and records completely straight, because when they're not, it's opportunity for error, opportunity for fraud. It's also one of the reasons the department would report a 1% error rate. By any payment company, that would be 5 decimals to the right instead of where it is.
And
so
you've done so much in the payments industry. I wanted to make the point that you just left a company before you started working in government that did $2.5 trillion a day and 850 million transactions a day. So you understand the payments business, and I want to get your take on how this happens. People didn't look at them. I mean, at the same time, you've made the point in the past that having a Social Security number is so critical. So we don't know if those people who Elon Musk and the Doge team told us they were on the rolls of being 150 years old, 160 years old. We don't know if they actually accepted Social Security benefits and accepted money, but we do know that they may have had a Social Security number.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
I mean, the work that Doge did was 100% accurate. They were identifying opportunity for fraud, and they still end up being a tremendous resource for us. And, you know, partnering with Doge has been tremendously valuable, even in my first few days here. And it's really about data integrity. That Social Security number, and I keep saying it, travels through the whole ecosystem, right? Every element, everywhere you go, people want to understand the Social Security number. If that Social Security number is still alive in the system, it has the opportunity for fraud. So we've worked really hard. I think people have done tremendous work at getting much higher data integrity. We've definitely found things that are not good, but I view it as out of adversity comes opportunity. The opportunity to eliminate fraud, waste, and abuse. The president was 100% right. He had it early, and he knew what he saw, and he used the information, and I plan on running a much tighter ship here.
Well, what about that? What are they doing with a Social Security number? Because we've got reports that illegal migrants came into the country. They were given Social Security numbers. How does that happen? And once you have a Social Security number, what can you get?
Well, you know, you could go all the way. You could go all the way with a Social Security number from, you know, Medicare, Medicaid, voter registration, licenses, everything, you know. And a Social Security card is a pretty big ticket. Now, you know, it doesn't take a large number on a percent basis, right, to be a big problem here in the United States. So I've moved all the way to the front of the process. How do we not give people Social Security numbers unless they should have them? And how do we retire them, make them ineligible when they're no longer eligible?
So under the Biden administration, we had all these people coming in who were unvetted and unchecked. That's what I want to get your take on. How is it possible that they came into the country, we knew that they were not legal citizens, and yet they were still able to get a Social Security number?
Well, yeah, because they would get a ticket coming in many times, the first 1,500 or whatever the number a day was, and then they can apply for work. And, now that doesn't mean they were going to get a Social Security payment at the end.
Right.
But it availed them to a number. And, it's highly possible not all of them were good actors at all.
And then they could apply for Medicare, apply for Medicaid, apply for all sorts of stuff.
Yes.
In Social Security. I got you. Well, President Trump meeting with GOP lawmakers on Capitol Hill yesterday, he touted the tax breaks and incentives in the one big, beautiful bill. Here's the president yesterday. Watch this.
We're going to have a bill, the one big, beautiful bill. I think it's going to be, it's the biggest bill ever passed, and we got to get it done. Tremendous tax cuts for people, tremendous incentives, tremendous regulation cuts, all these regulations that are so horrible. We're cutting three things: waste, fraud, and abuse. We're not changing Medicaid, and we're not changing Medicare, and we're not changing Social Security.
Now, the bill includes a $4,000 bonus for older adults as an alternative to eliminating tax on Social Security. How is this going to impact senior citizens who are collecting income?
Well, in fact, this is the big, beautiful bill. And, I'd say the first 100 days of this presidency is unparalleled. What the president has achieved has never been achieved before. And the things being enacted in this bill, as an example, this $4,000 credit to your taxes gives a tremendous opportunity for low and middle income Social Security recipients to have more cash. So he delivered exactly what he said he was going to deliver.
Oh, he's doing that, yeah, sure.
In a different form on this.
Well,
but we're already getting phone calls asking us about it. The amount of Social Security recipients who are excited to think about this and know that it's going to benefit them. We find it in our call centers every day.
But what are the other efforts to avoid potential insolvency? I mean, you listen to the Committee for a Responsible Budget, who says that the Social Security Trust Fund will go bankrupt, go insolvent by 2035. And of course, Social Security pays out $1.5 trillion a year. So what are your efforts now, and what are you looking at in terms of avoid that potential insolvency?
This is a really important time. We have an annual trustees meeting that would be led by the Treasury Secretary, the Department of Labor, and Health, Human Services, and myself, the 4 trustees. Our actuaries will produce the information for it. That's where we'll evaluate it. And ultimately, it will be us, the White House, and Congress that will come up with the solution. I am quite confident that we have many ways to solve this problem. We all just have to apply ourselves, recognize. I think all the things we talk about, fraud, waste, and abuse, our accuracy rate, all contribute to that.
Yeah.
And then, the trust fund, what people are really saying is, last year, it would pay out, say, in 35, approximately at 83% of what it does.
Right.
I think we will build strategies and work with Congress and the White House to have it pay out at 100%.
Does one idea include, extending the retirement age so that people wait before they're getting those social?
Well, I mean, there's been around, even when I went through the Senate confirmation process, everybody has an idea.
Yeah.
Right now we have to, kind of take all the ideas, put them in a manner that's good for the American public and good for the country. And I think in many cases, those all end up aligned. and I think we will get the job done. It's going to happen.
Yeah, Frank, it's great to have you this morning. Congratulations to you.
Thank
After your long career in business, we appreciate you're working in government and taking this on.
I appreciate
Thank you so
you.
much. Frank
Thank you.
Bisignano joining us. Stay with us. We'll be right back.